Hello, my name is Ramses the 800th. It's an honor to make your acquaintance. And now we're doing Manga Roundup again. Now, this is a very special one, I want to say, because we're actually be covering a few things. So, as you know, if you're part of like the manga and anime stuff, this is. I'm going to go to this banner. This is a pretty good banner. This is officially the final chapter of My Hero Academia. Now, I've already seen it because of spoilers and stuff, so I already kind of know what happens. I also already read it, so we're just going to go through the chapter. But I'm going to say everything that we're going to go through today. We're going to go through Worry Dragon, because I love Worry Dragon. We're going to go through My Hero, the final chapter. We're going to go through JJK, the two chapters that came out. We're going to go through and Kagurabachi. I would go through One Piece, but I haven't covered One Piece here yet, so I'm not that versed in it. So I think the first thing we should start off with is the ending of My Hero. So let's do that. Like since we're also gonna get like a 2 week break from most manga, so that's gonna be crazy, and that's just weird to think about because we're gonna have the end of My Hero. I think what am I thinking about? Black Clover comes out pretty soon. I think it comes out at the end of the week, and I will be doing a. Oh no, it might not be the end of the week. It might be next week. I don't know. I have to figure it out. But I will be live reacting to that because I need to have like a fresh mind. So let's go through the final chapter. Let's just go through it quickly because I want you guys to read it fully, and we'll just look at the pretty pictures and all the interesting stuff. So beautiful spread. This is actually pretty close to the final spread in the other one. It's pretty close. It's not the exact same, but basically, yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, basically. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna read the words. I'm gonna just gonna like talk to you about how I felt about it and how my feelings are with My Hero Academia. So we get a massive like 8 year time skip, which is crazy. And we get Deku being a teacher, which I feel like is the best path for him because since he lost his quirk, which we find out again later. Um, Also, obviously spoilers, but and we get I forgot what the kid's name is, but we get him, and we also get the I don't know why I'm pointing at it when I have the cursor. We have the little kid, the water kid, can't remember his name. Who's at UA, which is great, and we have the kid, the kid who was the weird blood kid. I think he had blood powers. The weird blood kid who was at the end of the previous chapter. So we know that he reformed and had a better life now. And we see adult Deku. We see his hands all fucked up. We see the scar on his face. And this is a beautiful thing. This is beautiful, right? And you see everything that's happened afterwards. Blah 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 blah. Oh, it's great. Look right here. Hold on. Can I zoom in? When I zoom in, it gets weird, so I'm not gonna do that. Wait, I can do this. Yeah. So we get the kids being kids. We get Hawks and I'm so bad. Like I said, I'm always so bad at names. I'm gonna stop trying to guess names. We get Bird Guy and Hawks. We get them together, and we get everybody like basically being happy. We get the League of Villains book coming out, which is crazy. Um, Everybody hanging out. We get Compress, who I almost completely forgot about, and then we get the graduation ceremony, and then we get this interesting thing, which is a bunch of other kids and like kind of where everyone else is. We get Hatsume, she's like has a big design like agency. We get the Yoshi guy, Yoshida, yeah, Ryu Yoshida, this guy who's a doctor. We get uh, what's her name, is it here, Labrava and Gentle, and they're married because you can see their rings here. Hold on, you can see their rings right there, one, two, so they got married. That's great. And we get this other kid who's basically the new Deku, right? 8 years later, yeah. 8 years later, we get the new Deku. His name is what? Dai, right? And we get him saying like, oh, you know, back when I was a little kid, everyone wanted to be a hero. Now there's so much other stuff. People are making fun of him because of his quirk. And we get the All Might statue again, right? Crazy. But we also get Tentacle, right? this is like a very interesting thing that we're getting. We also get, I don't remember any of their names. We get the horn guy who can talk to animals, and then the other guy from class two. Like they're all just they're getting like renowned for the what are they called? Heteromorphs? Yeah, heteromorph community. And then we're getting all this. We get Ochako, Momo, Tsuyu, and Ida a part of like a team to help with quirk counseling, which is amazing. And it's basically even more confirmation that Toga's dead, which is fine. And we get Eri and her friends like getting to be normal kids, which is amazing. She's not in the hero course. She's not trying to be a hero, and she just wants to be like a normal girl, which is 100% something that she deserves. And then we get uh, um, we got Aizawa saying like, "Oh, Bakugo is like doing his thing again," but we thought we'd teach it out of him, but probably not. And then we get adult Deku, and he doesn't have garbage hair. Finally, he Shoto kind of has it. You could see Shoto, but he doesn't actually have it, which I think is the most important part. Deku, his hair is shorter, but I guess his hair is more proportional now, I guess. And we get this really big panel of him saying like, "Oh, where is it? Where is it?" We also get that it's said here somewhere that Lemillion is the number one hero. It's somewhere here. Well, and are matching their energy, blah, blah, blah. The other day, Togata senpai even joked about quaking in his boots. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Lemillion is number one hero, which is amazing, right? Do you miss it that he's talking about the hero stuff and he's like, "Oh, everything's fine, it's okay, I'm fine. I have to be better with the kids, blah blah blah." And then he starts talking about like ever since we started working, I haven't really had time to see them. We haven't really got like we don't have plans to get together, blah blah blah. We get Darkwing, aka Tokoyami, right? Tokoyami, yeah. Bird, he has like a hair product, which is funny. We see Kirishima here, great Red Riot. Um, I I love seeing Kirishima here. We don't see all of the kids. Well, we do, but we don't. And yeah, there's a statue to literally all of them right here. Let me zoom in over here. It's a statue of all the kids when they were like younger, which is great. Ooh, uh-oh. And then he says like, "Oh, like he really loves seeing everybody be happy." And then a kid falls, his instincts as a hero kick in, and he catches him while this guy tried to do it at the same time. And this is Dai. Dai's like, "Oh my god, Deku, Zuko, Midoriya, blah 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 blah." And we get this scene, which I think is amazing, which is Dai asking, "Do you think I can become a hero like all of you did, right?" And Deku, being Deku, goes on his whole rant thing where he's just muttering, "Oh, I know how to do this. This is how your quirk works. We can do this, blah 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 blah." And Dai's like, "That's weird." And then we get this, and then the "you can be a hero." Amazing, amazing. And if the series had ended here with this panel, where it's like, "Oh, do your best, kid," and it's basically passing on the stuff, like, then I'd say that this is a tale of how we became the greatest heroes. If that's how it ended, that would have been fine. I would have been a little bit more angry because I think it's really dumb that he lost his quirks, but whatever. But that's not how it ends. As you can tell by this the end, we get this little hand right here, and you're probably wondering, "Oh, what is that?" It's All Might crushing the end. Year late, right? And we get Old Man All Might, and I know me and my brother were talking about this, that at the beginning of the series, if you had bet, "Oh, All Might's definitely going to be dead by the end of the series," you don't have to guess when he was. You would have guessed, you would have put $1,000 on All Might being dead by the end of the series. You would have been wrong. And that is the weirdest feeling, It's so weird to think about that, like, All Might, who should have probably died at some point, is still alive and kicking at the end of the series. He's very gray, very gray. All the age finally hit him all at once. But then we get info about this technology they did studying on the his fight he did with All For One, the fight he did with Shigaraki, and they were doing a bunch of data, and that quirks weren't the only things that were advancing, but so was technology and support weapons. And he got funded by a lot of his old friends in Class 1A, and especially Bakugo. And he said, "Take this to to take this to Kid Heart, take this to Heart Kid. You also earn this power fair and square. And I was like, this is fine. And Bakugo being Bakugo, come on, Deku. And then we get the final page spread of of My Hero, which is all of the students from 1A. All of them. We get Shinso on the back and we get Aoyama. We get all of them, all their adult designs. And sorry, I had to take a sip of water. And then we get a visage of Shigaraki basically going like, you did it. And Deku in this teched out suit to help him be a hero. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And we get everyone's adult designs. Everyone. Let me zoom into everyone. First, we get Ochako, who we saw. The people that we saw in the chapter, at least a little bit, was Ochako. We saw a little bit of Deku, a little bit of Bakugo. We saw Su, we saw Ida, we saw Momo, we saw Shoto, we saw Octopus guy. Don't remember his name. We saw most of the designs, but now we see everyone's design, and they all look pretty cool. Mina has the awakening horns, which somebody else pointed out to me, and I said, oh shoot, that's really cool. The only people who we don't know their full designs is obviously Invisible Girl. She doesn't really change. I like to think that she has just even longer hair. She just never cuts it. We get Suyu, we get everybody, right? Jiro has like that one ear jack because she lost the other one. And this is a good like note to end on for me. You get the four guys, you get the four of them, and like she even has like the mouthpiece right here. Let me zoom in. She has the mouthpiece from like Deku's old outfit, which I think is a nice nod. They're not together, which I feel like it's okay. Like they didn't have to say anything, you know. We don't really have a lot of confirmed relationships in this, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. But you know, there are some like hints, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back a few things. Somebody pointed out, where is it? Somebody pointed this out. This might be a nod to Kaminari and Jiro, because obviously this is his like lightning bolt, but you know, that's probably a stretch. But also, why would you put it there? You know? So a lot of people say that's probably a nod to something. And yeah, this is the official final page of My Hero, and I can't wait till this is colored, till somebody on the internet colors it, because they're going to. And the final chapter is called My Hero Academia, you know, and that's just perfect. We get literally everybody here. I wish we got a little bit more of like the others, like what exactly they're doing, because we really don't know what Jiro, what Tail Guy, what Aoyama did. But of course, that can always be expanded on, because the thing with this world is we can really just have other people write it, like they did with Vigilantes. Because if you don't know, well, you probably do. Vigilantes the whole thing was it was a prequel technically to the current story of My Hero, and now we jumped 8 years ahead. We can get another. I don't know how long Vigilantes went for. It didn't go for that long. It went for about, I think, like 12 volumes, which is a lot, but also came out monthly, I think. So, but we can get a story, a pretty short one if we really wanted to, of just not even following these kids, not even following the kids who are now adults. We can follow other kids, like the weird, like Stitchmouth kid. We can follow his story and how he wound up here, and how he interacts with the new top heroes, and how he interacts with his teacher now becoming an actual hero, you know? And we can do a bunch of stuff like that, and that's perfect. And then maybe every few chapters we get like a cameo from one of the kids or one of the now adults, and how they expanded on, how they do a bunch of stuff, you know? And for me, My Hero, I felt for a long time was kind of getting kind of slow, especially during the war. Like a lot of stuff was happening. Some characters didn't really do much. Like my man Kirishima didn't really do much during the war, you know. Mina got a really big moment. She got her quirk awakening. I feel like the quirk awakening stuff was really interesting, because you know you can take mundane powers, air quotes, and elevate them, and also take a already crazy quirks that make them even stronger, like Bakugo, like well, Ultraco's quirk wasn't really crazy, but her quirk awakening allows it to be crazy, you know? And that's just like a bunch of really cool stuff. And I am perfectly content. I think that's the best word to describe it. Content. I am content with the ending of My Hero. I wish we got maybe a little more. I wish Deku didn't lose his quirk and he didn't have to go basically 8 years without it. I want to say it wasn't 8 years. I'm going to say like 6, because I think it was until the end of his school, until the end of the actual time in My Hero, in UA. I don't know how long it is. I think it should be 4 years. They only did the first year, and then the second year we started. So I think he had it for like 4 years, 4 to 3 years, and then he lost it, you know? So I think he's only really not had his quirk for like 4 years, and not instead of 8, because I don't think he burned through it that quickly, you know? Because to me, he obviously finished. Let me go all the way back. Back. Sorry for the glitches. Here we go. He obviously finished it, right? He obviously finished school. And then the power disappeared. So I think he went the entire time with his quirk all the way up until the final day, and then all the embers were gone, you know? Yeah, comes to an end along with the embers of All for One. So I think he got to the end of school, and then he lost his quirk. And then he was like, okay, I'll become a teacher, you know? Which I think is probably the best outcome, you know? Because like he wasn't gonna deliver food like people were saying online, and he wasn't gonna like he wasn't just gonna stop being affiliated with heroes. He loves it too much, you know? So I think this is one of the best outcomes for Deku and most of the cast. Granted, again, we don't really know too much about everybody else. We know some of the kids. We know the heteromorphs are like, he's getting famous. We're getting Suyu, Ochako, Momo, and Ida. We know what they're doing. We know Bakugo and Shoto, but we don't really know too many others. Red Riot's popular with the guys. You know, it's pretty interesting. But apart from that, we don't really know. And that's fine. We know All Might's alive, which is, you know, of course, great. But like I said, I think this is a really good ending. And this is like the end of 10 years. Almost on the dot, 10 years. But we also know that tomorrow, because I'm filming this on the 4th, tomorrow we're going to get a special announcement. Now, I think it's going to be a spin-off series that takes place around this time. I don't think Horikoshi's going to write it. I think he's going to be a part of it, and then it's going to take place in this new future world. You know, like this world 8 years in the future. That's my theory. So that's My Hero Academia, the final chapter. I didn't really, like I said, if you really want to know all the specifics on what they're saying, probably find somebody else or read the chapter yourself, which I recommend. Now, from an ending to something else, let me see if I can find it because I have to go to see all. I didn't talk about this last time because I don't think a chapter came out last time, but I actually really love the manga Ruri Dragon. It's a very nothing series. No, I don't want to say nothing. It's not a nothing series. It's a really good series. It's really like sweet, you know, and it's very like down to earth, even though the main character has dragon horns and she's half dragon. And this entire story, like you expect it to go one way, but it really doesn't. It's very much like this girl dealing with her problems and having to be like normal when clearly standing out, which I really love. Like I said, I'm not going to really go too much into this because I really want you guys to read Ruri Dragon. I'm just going to go through the chapter, and a lot of stuff that happens to Ruri is stuff that I completely relate with. Specifically this scene where she's literally going like, I want to learn everybody's name because this girl was grilling me on it. It's like, oh, well then what's my name? And she's like, Kata something. It's Kubata. Actually, it's like, sorry, you know, like that's such like a like the language in this manga is really good, you know, like the way they talk, I feel like they're actually like kids. And there's questions that are brought up that I go, yeah, I'd ask that too. Specifically this question, which is really fun because he's like, oh yeah, you're half dragon. How does that work? And then he's like, oh, some interspecies sexy time, which is so funny. And it's like, oh, you're overstepping, you know? He's like, okay, that's fair. And she's just like, oh no, I understand. I'll ask my mom, you know, she probably knows. I'll ask her. And he's like, keep me updated, you know, because if you've read the one shot, which I have pretty recently, you'd know that we actually see Rory's dad, and her dad is pretty dragon. He's like he doesn't like at all turn into like a human. He's always in dragon form. We don't know if he can turn into a human. We don't know if her mom's a freak, but those are questions that we might find out. And she's saying like, "Oh, I don't want my mom to give me a giant exposition dump." But for me, what I'm really looking forward to in this series is having Ruri meet her dad, because we haven't gotten that yet. And I really want her to meet her dad so that a lot of stuff can be explained. And this is something that I went crazy for when I was reading this chapter, because if you've read Ruri Dragon, you know that occasionally she awakens to draconic abilities. The first one was fire breathing. Well, the first one was horns. The second one was fire breathing. Then a few others, which I'm not going to spoil. And now she's getting another one, and she's just like violently throwing up, and she's throwing up venom. Now, another question I have is, who the hell is this guy? Because he knows so much about everything. He's very cool with everything, which is really weird, but also kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I like how they never bring up, "Hey, Ruri, why don't you just like do something else? Because you have like all these powers and these abilities, even though she can't really control them." The teacher's like, "Oh yeah, I talked to your mom. You have horns, fine. I just have to like keep an extra lookout for you. Cool." You know, he doesn't really care. He's very calm. He's very much a vibe, and I really love it. And there's a lot of times where you think something really big is gonna happen, but it doesn't, and you're not undermined. You don't feel like something was taken away from you. I don't know I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it makes sense to me, and I think it makes sense to people who watch Ruri Dragon, who read Ruri Dragon. But Ruri Dragon also comes out bi-weekly, so it comes out every other week, which is kind of pain, but whatever. The art's amazing, by the way. The art's really good. So if you really want to watch it, if you really want to read it, because the art's really good. But like I said, I don't like going too much into it. I just like doing overviews because it helps me, right? It helps me thinking about all this stuff and lets me convey my thoughts. But I just think it's so weird that this guy can just on a dime go, "Oh, she's throwing up venom." You know, it's just like strange to me. But they're probably gonna explain the next chapter whenever that comes out. But that's Ruri Dragon, right? I highly recommend reading Ruri Dragon. It's literally 18 chapters. The chapters aren't even that long. They're like 19. So read Ruri Dragon. It's really good. Now, let's talk about JJK. But first, let me take a sip of water because I'm thirsty. Perfect. All right. So we're actually going to cover two chapters here. We're going to cover chapter 246, even though I already did, and then 256. Sukuna, for some reason, just can't die. He refuses to die. He's climbing Jacob's ladder. How does that make sense? The last two times he got hit with Jacob's ladder, he was basically being absolutely eviscerated. And he's just hopping through like it's nothing. It's hurting him, obviously, but, nothing's happening. He hits Toji with a black flash, even though I don't know how he did that. From this panel, it looks like he jumped up somewhere. Don't know how he did that, but whatever. It is like this guy's a sorcerer to his core, and Yuji, being the absolute psychopath that he is, was chasing Sukuna, trying to get to him, and they just start boxing, absolutely throwing hands. He throws him through a building, blah blah blah. It's better with the visuals than the previous one. He starts doing his cuts, his slices, rocks, but then he gets rocked in the face, right? Because Sukuna hit a second black flash, he gets a bunch of his stuff, and he starts dominating Yuji. Boom, bang. The action in this is amazing. He's like, "Oh, your hits are great, but they don't do nothing if they can't hit me." Then we get the domain expansion. Jesus Christ. And then like, oh my God. When this happened, I said, "Oh shoot. Oh shoot. This is gonna be bad." Hard cut. They're in a train station, and I said, "Oh no, Sukuna's dead. He's going straight to hell." That's why he's at a train station. I read that on or then on Twitter somewhere. It's like the reason he's not in the airport and then he's in a train station is because he's going straight to hell. But I find it very interesting what happened here. So let's do a quick overview. There's a lot of talking. This is the yapping chapter. This is yap jutsu kaisen, right? So it's Yuji talking to Sukuna in Yuji's body. It's called That Day. Okay. And he's basically going through his hometown. He's talking about his feelings, how he felt about stuff. He Sukuna occasionally like interacts with him. He looks so angry here. Hold on. Let's go big. He looks so angry here. Look at his face. He looks absolutely like pissed off right here, right? And it's just Yuji talking about like his life there. It's like, oh yeah, this is where I did this. This is where I found this. Like, oh, these flowers are really cool. This is an interesting point. He's like, oh, I got those memories from Fushiguro, and Yuji's like, oh, so you must know what happened here, right? You must know what happened through me. He's like, no, I don't really care about your memories. And he goes, oh, okay. They're doing crayfish. Sukuna is being egged on by Yuji very simply, very quickly. And then they're obviously arguing. This is peak uncle and nephew energy if they were really angry at each other. These two are really acting like family. And we're just going through a bunch of stuff. We're Yuji's going on talking about everything, saying like, "Oh, you're actually really good at archery. I forgot that's when you were here." And he starts talking and talking and talking until he's here, and he's like, "What? Why are you asking me this? What are you trying to say? Right?" It's like, "Why are you showing me this?" And then Yuji goes in a whole tirade, and he's like, "Oh," he's basically talking about roles again, which is pretty important in JJK. I feel like it's the idea of roles, and this also kind of confirms that Noboru's dead. Sad, but whatever. He might pull a fast one on us. It's like, oh, she's not dead. Yuji just thinks she's dead. Whatever. And he's talking about roles, and he's basically saying the roles that we have aren't set, and they don't really matter. You can have any role you can do, even if your role is not doing anything, right? As like instead of memories given form to your life, small fragments of memories are out there anyway, floating around and giving your life value. So saying life has value naturally. And he's like, how someone dies doesn't matter, but I can't forgive someone who acts as though lives are worthless. That's why I hate you, Sukuna. Human beings aren't tools. They don't come into being with a predetermined role. Good guys, bad guys, I don't know which is truly human. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong, but I'm just worried. I just wanted to know this stuff. I just wanted you to know this stuff. I wanted to show you the livelihood of the people you see as having no value. And Sukuna goes, I don't care. He's like, keep talking. I don't really care. And Yuji goes, I figured, you know. And this was the craziest thing to me. And Sukuna's like, I can't even begin to understand why you'd even try doing this to me, you know? And then it clicks right here. It clicks. And he goes, oh, you're pitying me. You're looking down on me, right? He goes, are you trying to be like merciful? Are you trying to show me mercy? And these are two really hard images. It goes, that's right, Sukuna, I can kill you, right? No hesitation, no nothing. I can kill you, Sukuna. If I wanted to, I could kill you, you know? And he's literally going, if you free Megumi and go into my body, I won't kill you. Wild. And then we get this image of Sukuna just going like, I'm gonna kill everybody. It's gonna be your fault. You know? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And 2-week break. So, you know, but amazing. JJK is really amping up. And I really think we're probably going to end in a few chapters. Like, I really don't know how much longer this can go on at this point. You know, Yuji opened a domain. Next chapter, we're going to get his domain and what it does. And like, what's gonna happen, really. So I really don't know what happens next for Jujutsu Kaisen, but by God, is it gonna be amazing? Or it could be absolute trash. Who knows? Now, we talk about something else. Kagurabachi. I love Kagurabachi. I've been on Kagurabachi since day one, literally day one. And I just love being able to talk about it. I'm not good with names, so forgive me for that. But again, I like doing these overviews so that I can just cover a lot of stuff and give you my thoughts. So we're basically in the crumbling realm of I forgot his name, the other guy, and the oh my god, I'm so bad at names. The main character, he's trying to save everyone in that realm from falling. He's zipping around trying to help literally every single person. And what is it called? The storage house. That's right. The storage house won't collapse because his dad, this guy's father, is holding off the will of whatever this thing is. Shunichiro, the blade, the enchanted blade, which is a literal monster. And we get this crazy, amazing art, this beautiful art of the blade going out of control. People are running away. And then we get a flashback to whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. And his wife who's dying. And she's basically like, please, what is it called? Rakuzachi? Whatever. The Rakuzachi. The bidding thing. She goes, please stop them. And like, I don't want you to become a bad person. Right? And since the dad's will is too strong, he's like, no, I have to keep going, even if it's against my wife's words. And he's thinking, why am I remembering her words now? And then we get this image of all of them, like, as a fake, air quote, happy family. Well, no, as a happy family, living their life. And it literally all breaking apart because of his choices to continue the Rakuzen or whatever. And this is the epitome of it. I won't let it end. I'll kill any worm who dares interfere. He's holding on to sheer willpower. And this is a part of the cover, obviously. They're all crazy. That's literally how they're doing this, right? All their willpower, all their strength is the only thing keeping them like together enough to do all of this. They try to jump our boy here, but best girl so far, the only girl who's lived long enough to be best girl, is back, and she's protecting him, making sure he's not gonna get hurt. Fighting, violence, all that stuff. Main character is going around helping everybody, and we get more of, the names aren't ingrained in my brain long enough yet, so I'll just call them whatever. Eye Patch. It's not fair because he's also an eye patch. This guy, Hikari. Hikari is like, if you don't know, read Kagurabachi, then you would know that this person killed themselves. That's kind of a spoiler, but this entire thing's spoilers, so don't worry about it. This character killed themselves technically because of him, or thanks to him. Read the story. And he's like, I won't let people die on my watch, while I'm here. And they're going to save one more person. The storage house collapses. Everyone's safe. Chihiro, right. Chihiro. And this is a crazy image, right? We get this like cold, like quiet shot. And it's like, oh, you're right. I'm the person who did wrong. I'm the only person who did wrong. His sons are basically gone. I think this means he's dead, but whatever. I don't really know. I know for a fact he's dead, but I don't know about him. He might be dead. And this is crazy. This shows just how much willpower this guy has, right? Kiora. Because this blade, if you read the story so far, basically was going wild the entire time he released it. And it was slowly corrupting him because the sword wanted to take more power. And he had the willpower to close the sword and put it off to the side and die before it fully took him over. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Beautiful beautiful ending panel. Beautiful ending panel. And now we continue on to chapter 44. Again, beautiful art. The reason I didn't make that one full screen was because I didn't feel like it. Now I'll make this one big screen. And this is basically the aftermath chapter. Technically, this is aftermath and setting up for what comes next, which I love. One of my favorite things is when story arcs directly lead into each other. Like, this arc couldn't happen if this arc didn't happen. You know what I mean? Now I know what you're saying. Most arcs probably are like that, but not all of them. Some feel kind of disjointed, you know. But we're not talking about that right now. What we're talking about is Kagurabachi. And some people from that foundation, like the organization that works with the Bone Lady. Bone Lady is a good name. Bone Lady. Some of the people from the Hyuki, that's her name. I guess it is. Hyuki, the organization that's working with Hyuki, they are two other representatives who are basically there to like watch and make sure everything was okay. And the storage house, the Ryuzen, whatever, the auction is basically falling apart. You know, it's crumbling. There's too much damage to everything, and we get this crazy thing. Chihiro is basically going to pass out, and we get Mr. Teleporter over here, really cool guy, and we get this shot. This is great, by the way. I already read this chapter. I already know what happens. This is great. We get Mr. Mentor grabbing Chihiro, and Chihiro's like, I need to get the sword. I can't let this happen again. Teleport, and the sword's gone. So you, in your brain, you go, oh, well, obviously, you know, but in your brain, you go, oh, they all got away. Nope. Chihiro's not there. He got his sword taken, and the only reason he wasn't taken was because he was put into this pocket dimension by Sumo Guy. Think of the pocket dimension as a domain. That's the best way to explain it, right? It's a domain expansion. We just talked about JJK. It basically takes everybody who he wants into the place, right? So, and then we get a hard cut away from this scene to back outside. The place explodes. Flame Bone. They all come out. I love the Sumo Guy. Sumo Guy's the best. He's put him down. They have Shunichi, which is the crazy blade that was going psychotic. And they're all like, oh, what do we do now? We get Hikari, whatever. So this is a part of the reason why I think the oldest brother is dead, because he's talking to him, the second oldest. So I think we can say that he's dead, especially if they didn't get him, you know? So whatever. And the dad's obviously dead. And he was my North Star and stuff like that. And we get the reuniting between the little kid, again, read the story, you know who it is, kind of, and then his big sister, who was going to be auctioned off. We don't know why, she just was. Rakuzaki, right. Rakuzaki's going to be destroyed, or like it's not happening anymore. It was basically stopped. And then we get this, the curtain falls, and then so what's next? Beautiful encapsulation, is that a word? Whatever. Beautiful, like, thing of Kagurabachi. So what comes next? Because this was like something that was built on quite a bit, and we don't really know what's going on. Because I don't know if I said this last chapter. Hold on, let me get a sip of water. I don't know if this was brought up last chapter. I don't know if I brought it up last time I talked about Kagurabachi, but this whole sequence, this auction house, the sword being auctioned off, blah, 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 could have very well have been the end of the series. I always say that because this was a very easy, basically shortcut to get all the enchanted blades in one spot. You know, he could have done this, he could have won all the blades, and then that would have been a big happy ending. He got all the swords, he didn't have to deal with any repercussions, blah, 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 blah. But it didn't. And we still have so many other blades that we have to deal with, and we still don't have the last one. And you'll find out why. We get a shortcut, we get a flashback to what was said in that weird domain space. And Chihiro's basically explaining, I didn't really understand what the blades were or what they were capable of, right? So I know how dangerous they are now. I've seen it. I've seen how scary they can be. But I want to have it for myself. I want to be able to keep them safe, but I know I can't. Right? That's basically what he's saying. And I know other people are coming for the blades, and that's gonna cause trouble, and it's gonna be a problem, and I can't let that happen. So he's basically talking to the girl, and they're having this conversation. And once these people who are after the blades make a move, they might be able to get their hands on them, right? And like, we can't let the enchanted blades be used for evil purposes. Our objectives is the same, right? He says, take the blade, and he goes, I don't want to sit on the sidelines. And I know you guys won't let me do this because of whatever. Because you guys don't trust me, you guys don't want to, and you don't want me to use an enchanted blade not in your control. So, let me join you, basically. The Kamunabi? I guess that's what it's called. He says, let me join you, which basically allows me to use my sacred blade under your permission, technically, and allows me to collect the other sacred blades and to make sure that they're not being used for the wrong reasons. I think that's a beautiful way to end the chapter. I keep saying beautiful a lot. I think that's a really good way to end the chapter, because that's a jumping off point for what happens next. Throughout a lot of the series, you feel the underdogness of Chihiro, because he's up against like wild stuff. He never really does the stuff alone. Sometimes he does. Like, sometimes he just takes out entire buildings by himself, and entire buildings full of people by himself. And other times he's just like, he's never been completely on the back foot without something up his sleeve. And I really like that. He's not an edgy boy. He's not edgy. He's smart. He's a guy who lost his dad and is trying to get back what his dad lost. Like, that's really, I don't know how else to explain it, but that's it. And I can't wait for 2 weeks to see what happens next. And we won't have to wait too long for another. Well, that one's going to be live stream, because I don't know when the next chapter of Black Clover is coming out. I know it's happening soon, but when it happens, I will be live streaming my base reaction to it. I'm not going to pre-watch it. I'm not going to look at any spoilers. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to read the chapter, because Lord knows Black Clover is one of my favorite series, and it's also coming to an end too. We don't know how much longer it has, but we're gonna get 2 chapters. It's gonna come out pretty soon, and I'm very excited for that. So I think that's the end. I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. This is about almost an hour-long video, and yeah, I really Shonen Jump. Hold on, you guys can't see it, but look, Chihiro, our boy, he's in the background right there. Chihiro, Luffy. Soon, I think this is the craziest thing. Soon, he's not going to be in these anymore, Deku, and soon Itadori's not going to be in these anymore because the series ended. So who's going to be the next one up? It's going to be my boy Chihiro, and I promise you it's that. Obviously, Sakamoto Days. I haven't read Sakamoto Days. Obviously, it's going to take the next spot, but Sakamoto Days is going to move in, and I think Kagurabachi is also going to move back into the spot. But I've always been a firm believer of this idea. Let me put this out into the ether. I don't know if I did it before, but I can do it again. Kagurabachi is as popular as it is, and the reason it's still in the book is because Black Clover left the book. That's always been my theory. That's always been my theory, mainly because Kagurabachi is I know it's a sword anime. Kagurabachi is a sword anime or a sword manga, right? Black Clover, when it comes to Asta, is a sword manga, sword anime. And it so perfectly fits that, I don't want to say niche, but it really fits that like category of stuff. Am I making sense? But I always said this. The only reason Kagurabachi is as popular, or the only reason Kagurabachi could stay in the book, is because Black Clover left. And with the departure of My Hero and soon to be oh my god, JJK, we're going to need other series. We have Sakamoto Days, but Sakamoto Days has been going on for how long? How many chapters Sakamoto Days have? 177. It's been around for a while. There's no new blood in Jump that hits like Kagurabachi. You know what I mean? That fills that shonen series. You know what I mean? I say that a lot too. But that's that's pretty much it from me. I've been going on for a little bit, like I said before, and this is going to be the manga roundup for this week and for the next few weeks because, well, I can do a one on Thursday. I can do a small one on Thursday for Chainsaw Man, like I did before, because Chainsaw Man's coming back, and then I think it's going to go on another 2 week break, which is going to be really dumb, but whatever. And then whenever Black Clover comes out, but get ready for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if I ramble a lot and I repeat myself a few times because I get excited and I want to talk about things. But I really appreciate every single view. I really appreciate every single like. YouTube stuff, like, comment, share, subscribe, and leave a comment on, I already said that. Well, talk about whatever series you want me to cover, like more in depth. If you want me to go into more in depth stuff, tell me what you look forward to in these series. Tell me what series you think I should look at. Because I know I said I didn't watch Sakamoto Days or read Sakamoto Days. You can tell me like a series you want me to check out and like go in depth at. And yeah. Oh, stream Thursday. Just letting you guys know. Again, still doing Hogwarts Legacy. So obviously, oh, my brain. Sorry. My throat's really dry. But I want to bid you all a farewell.